Hey y'all, it's Lindsay. We're doing another car chatty kind of like piece to this video. Happy New Year. It's been a minute since I have talked to y'all, and we have just gotten home from our trip around the eastern half of the states. It was kind of a whirlwind, and we are so glad that we did the trip, and we're glad to be home. We went south to Texas to spend Christmas with my family. We headed east to South Carolina to spend a couple days with some of Jared's extended family that I hadn't been to see in like 6 years. So I was very pumped to get to see them, and the kids all had a great time with their extended cousins. And then we headed north to Pennsylvania and got to spend time with my sister-in-laws and brother-in-law and all of our nieces and nephews and Jared's mom, and I just got to spend a lot of time with Jared's immediate family, and that was really great. And then Friday we hopped in the car and we were gonna drive from Pennsylvania to Chicago, but Jared and I don't do things moderately. You know, if I'm an extremist, he also is an extremist in certain respects, like just powering through stuff. So we decided, instead of taking a night and dividing the trip in 2 days, we would just do it all in one day. We didn't get home until about 2 a.m., put the girls to bed, and then we had to go build their Christmas presents that they still didn't know that they had, because they were too big for us to take with us somewhere and then haul around the country. So they finally got to have their Christmas present today, which they were so ecstatic about. I posted a picture on Instagram of the girls sitting in their presents. So if you don't follow me already, I would love for you to go check me out over on Instagram too. I didn't stay very well connected with social media or with any of my channel stuff or any of that jazz. But the reason was because I had eaten through 75% of my data within about a week and a half of the trip, and probably, I don't know, 65% of my entire data package was spent on podcasts whenever I had to drive from Dallas to Atlanta, which is 800 miles, give or take. And so it was just me. Jared was on a little like work assignment in the midst of our trip, and so I just solo drove to meet up with him in Atlanta with the girls. But you know, the girls did awesome with that, but I just needed a little bit of you know, mental not stimulation, but kind of stimulation. So anyway, I listened to about a gazillion podcasts, which ate through all my data because I did not preemptively download all of those podcasts. So that was on me. So I didn't really touch social media for like the last quarter of our trip, which was pretty awesome actually. And I didn't film anything specific. We watched a ton of home movies from when Jared was a kid. And I gotta be honest, I absolutely love watching their home movies, and I find it to be just a huge blast from the past, even though it wasn't like my past. And I don't know, it was just so fun, so great. And I kind of figured, like, as soon as we started watching some home movies that we had seen before, you know, it was one of those deals where it's like, oh my goodness, YouTube just sort of marketed like making home movies. Like, they made it monetizable, which was interesting and funny and entertaining. And it really makes me want to do a whole lot more family vlogs and stuff, just for the girls' sake, because they got to see their grandfather who passed away right before Molly was born, and Caitlin was not even 3. So it's one of those things where it's like, we get to sit there and we get to see his face, we get to hear his voice, we get to see his personality in you know, in action, which is something that my girls are not ever going to experience this side of heaven. So there's that. And I don't know, it just really kind of has my heart stirred to make more home movies of us, not necessarily to share, because Jared is he's kind of a reserved guy about stuff like that. And so don't look for any vlogs or anything like that soon, but that's definitely somewhere that my intentions are going to be focused this year. On another note, I mentioned a couple of videos ago, probably, I think it was my last Wellness Wednesday of the year, that my word for this coming year, or for 2019, is going to be intentional. And I got to really wrestling with that word, because intentional is just an adjective. It can go so many different ways. And so I really started just listening for God's voice in that for my life. And intentional discipline is something that really, really just kept resonating within me. And it just feels in my gut like that's what I'm supposed to be, intentionally disciplined with my life. And I can get stressed out. I can get sidetracked. I am a personality. I'm an 8 on the Enneagram first, and then I'm a 7, and then a 2. And if you know anything about tri-types and Enneagram stuff, that makes sense to you. If you don't, I would love to talk a whole lot more about that. I mentioned that back in the summer, but I never actually did anything with it. So all of that to say, I love new, and I love the next thing. And I will do something to the point where I understand how to do it and can do it proficiently, and then I will set it aside to chase after the next new thing. And that's not discipline in my life. And I'm not talking about like control. I'm talking about genuine discipline, where I am disciplined in how I care for my children, how I care for my husband, how I care for my home and our homeschooling, and just like every little facet of our lives. How am I being intentionally disciplined with how I choose to spend my time serving in those areas of my life? So I thought a lot about that on our drive back. I read an entire book in 18 hours after I bought it, which never happens these days, but it was able to happen on the drive home from Pennsylvania. So that was pretty awesome. I would love to be more intentionally disciplined with reading more books. And this was not, I don't like to read fiction right now. It's just not something that my brain can get into. I really enjoy fiction to a certain degree, but it's more of the reading other people's experiences in life. So all of that to say, we're doing great. We're so glad to be home, and I am excited to make more content for y'all and for myself, really, this coming year. I hope to get a Wellness Wednesday up this coming Wednesday. So yeah, let's do the things. I'm ready to be so much more intentional with how I approach this new year. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.